I have been waiting for this for a long time. This is the GPD Pocket, which some claim is the smallest laptop in the world. Let's start with some backstory. Do you remember the GPD Win? This is a handheld that runs PC games, which I have shown time and time again on this channel. After the success of that product, GPD ran a crowdfunding campaign for their next idea, a miniature laptop device that could fit in a pocket. After the crowdfunding campaign smashed all expectations, GPD got to work and very recently released this weird thing to the world, and here it is, in the flesh, or the metal. This specific one was sent to me as a review unit by the good fellows at GearBest, that also provided a code that you can use in the link in the description to get a discount and support the channel. This is a very neat computer. Let's start with an obvious comment. This is slightly bigger than the GPD Win, but that was made to be a gaming handheld and its tiny keyboard was for thumb use, useless as a laptop. But the Pocket is very much usable as a laptop, so its claims as one of the world's smallest laptops still kinda stands. Since everything about the design of this device is geared towards being as portable as possible, there is definitely a learning curve. The tiny keyboard takes a bit of getting used to before you can be efficient at it, and this knob, which is used as a mouse, is not as efficient as an actual touchpad, but it is okay as a substitute considering the size. Although, if you're going to game, you're going to need a Bluetooth mouse or something. But man, the build quality. GPD really has outdone themselves with how good this looks and feels. The whole thing is made out of aluminum, to the point that everyone I have shown it to asks if this is some sort of new tiny MacBook. The keyboard feels really good after you get used to it, even though the layout is, special. And the 1080 screen is just fantastic. Also, this is totally a touchscreen, so you can use that instead of the mouse. Really did not expect this level of quality, or the fact that it almost has 120 gigs of hard drive space, or the fact that it has all these ports, something that cannot be taken for granted in modern laptops, you know. It has a full USB port, a headphone jack, a micro HDMI port, and a USB Type-C that, while not Thunderbolt, so don't expect any external GPUs, can be connected to a dongle for an extra USB and HDMI port. This device is just really functional, which leads to performance, the thing you probably have been wondering during the length of this video. The GPD Pocket is equipped with an Intel Atom X7 C8750 with an Intel HD 405, which is an improvement over the GPD Win's Intel Atom C8700. Also, the Pocket has 8 gigs of RAM versus the 4 that you could find on the GPD Win. Not a bad improvement overall. But if we're going to talk about performance, there is an important note to be made regarding temperature. One thing I have learned about the GPD Win after months of use is that in certain intense games the device can get really hot. It seems GPD did not want this to happen again with this laptop because even though the Pocket has an active cooling system, the max temperature seems to be logged somewhere between 65 and 70. Meaning that on my initial test I noticed that the Intel Atom was throttling. Oh, for f***ing, why is English such a hard language? The Intel Atom was reducing its clock speed really early, so games were not using all the resources this PC had available. I have still not quite figured out where the line is where the CPU starts suffering. Something I have been discussing with viewers over the past few days, but there's a couple of things you can do to get the best out of this chip. The BIOS that came with this computer is locked, so there is no way of changing the max temperature there. GPD very recently released an unlocked version of the BIOS that I'm still experimenting with. Keep an eye on the channel for the results of that in the near future. In the meantime, you can use Throttle Stop, link in the description, a software that allows to monitor and play around with a lot of options, including disabling CPU Turbo Boost. The C8750 can Turbo Boost from 1.6 to 2.56, but the thermal limits pushes it down while gaming, so the GPU is stuck going up and down with no end. Ironically, by limiting it to 1.7, you can get better performance on more GPU-intensive games. Your experience might vary, so experiment with turning it on and off for every game. It also helps if you have it on top of some surface that grants it decent airflow. This means that CPU-intensive games like Minecraft will occasionally struggle when loading parts of the game, and that is even after using Optifine, but other games saw more interesting results. Portal 2 did fine on the lowest settings and 720p, as I expected, so I decided to experiment with something a bit more intensive, like Skyrim, the game that never dies. To my surprise, the game started out very fine on the lowest settings and a resolution of 720, only slowing down the presence of more enemies or particles, but still remained inside playable parameters. Just removing the shadows using the mod in the video link in the corner helped a great deal in getting some smoother performance, and that's a very small tweak. If you're interested in getting more, I would recommend dropping the resolution further, since you're really not going to notice it in a small screen, or using the other mods in the video. Since this is a laptop with a proper keyboard, I originally wanted to focus on games that play better on keyboard and mouse, but Rocket League has become a bit of an obligatory test for low-end hardware due to how well it performs, and using the configuration file I use on the GPD Win video, the game outperformed my expectations. I was able to comfortably play a full match here using the internal resolution scaler. Getting back to mouse and keyboard, we have the first Dishonored. This game did not perform very well on the normal minimal settings, but applying the configuration file in my Dishonored video, plus the resolution scaler from Rocket League, I was able to get it working decently. With one observation, apparently the resolution scaler screws up the player interface on this game, which makes it look pretty weird. Still playable, but I still have to look for another way of getting this to work without damaging the interface. And if you know me, you know that I like to throw a curveball at this kind of reviews and test something a bit more intense. So I went ahead and tried Overwatch using the configuration file in the video in the corner and a resolution of 960 by 540. And to my surprise, the game did way better than I expected. It struggles, of course, on more intense matches, but still hovers around something I will consider playable, which is impressive given the dimensions and the specifications of this computer I am using. So, in conclusion, the Pocket is a very good looking device that will likely turn some heads every time you take it out in public, and that packs a bit more power than expected. Even though the thermal limit is very annoying, considering this is meant to be used on a table anyway, you can, with some effort, game on it quite well, as long as you also bring a small mouse or a gamepad in your bag. There might be some modifications that can be done to improve its temperature, but that will have to wait for another video. Thank you once again to GearBest for sending me a review unit. Remember that you can check it out in the description with a discount code, and thank you to the people in Patreon who keep supporting me in any way they can. See you soon.